Well, you have to be worried about Michigan State because you're going to play them. So, historically, and for tomorrow's purposes, is there anything about their style of play that makes them particularly challenging?
Sure. I mean, it's no secret what they do. They play hard. They're physical. They are similar to us in transition. But like any other game, our approach is Illinois based. It's about playing the game our way. Um, yeah, not too complicated.
All right, thanks.
Mhm.
Hey Jake, going back to that Minnesota win, it was just so dominant for you guys. What was it like for you and just to contribute in the way that you did?
Yeah, I was on the bench at one point. I just got subbed out and I was like, dang, this is really fun. Like this is just maybe the most fun we had in a game this year, just across the board. Everyone got to play. Everyone played well. And I think it started with our defense. We watched film yesterday, and there were multiple big plays that we made on the offensive end right after we made really good defensive plays. So I thought it was really good for us to kind of see huge rotation plays where everybody's rotating. And it just showed that we were super connected. And like I said, it was super fun.
And I know you transferred into the program, so I don't know if you've ever, experienced anything like that before, just like the sheer magnitude of the game, playing on that stage, and just the way you guys were able to dominate it. Was it a unique experience for you?
Um, I don't know if I could say that. I mean, everyone who's ever played basketball has played in a game where kind of everything went their way and it was just really fun. I mean, it definitely is a bigger stage than other places, but at the end of the day, it was just a really good win.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Hey, Jake, 4 games in 8 days. I know you're focused on the one in front of you, but what do you think of when you think of 4 games in 8 days? What's that like for an athlete?
Um, Thinking about what I'm eating, making sure I'm drinking a lot of water, making sure I'm getting a lot of rest. And we know that's how the tournament is with 1 day prep. So it's kind of just a preview for that. I mean, it is what it is. We gotta handle it, and that's what we gotta do.
Is there a challenge? Is it more of a challenge physically or mentally, do you think?
I would say mentally. I mean, our bodies are just kind of used to the grind. Like if you ask anybody, they're tired in the country right now. But just being able to remember scouts 1 day, then apply it, then remember a new one and apply it is definitely where the money is made.
Thanks, Jake.
Mhm.
Hey, Jake, sorry about that. I spaced out. Io talked about on Saturday, like there's a sense of urgency, just kind of where the season is right now and the goals that you guys have in front of you. How do you describe that, given, it's not really like a quantifiable thing? What's it feel like around practice or in games or just around you guys?
Um, I can speak for myself, and I'm sure everyone would have something similar to say, but I would say that sense of urgency is that we have been practicing extremely hard since I don't even know what month, like no, September, November. Um, and the goal that we established initially was to, win the Big Ten championship, win the national championship, be first place in the Big Ten. And right now we're at the point where we're extremely close to it. Um, and it's within reach. So it's everything is magnified, and everything has so much importance that if you lose a game, you're down half a game. If you win a game, you're up half a game. So everything is just really important right now to be on our P's and Q's. So I'd say that's where this urgency comes from, just the apple being right there and just needing to stay patient and stay focused and keep grinding to get to it.
Is there a different, I mean, do you feel something different in practice, or like, I guess, is there any, I'm assuming you don't have to talk about it. I'm assuming you guys all just kind of know, like, now's the time. Like, how does that work?
Coach definitely talks about it. I mean, I feel like we've been preparing for this kind of section of the season the entire time. So it's no surprise where we're at. It's just, I would say we're definitely more locked in practice. Like we know we don't need to spend as much time in certain drills, just kind of knocking them out. And coach talks about those kind of things after practice. Just, we had a good practice. We didn't have to spend too much time. We just handled the things we need to do, just cross them off the list and handle business.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
Mhm.
Jake, how glad are you to see that Michigan game finally get back on the calendar and the opportunity next week? I mean, I know you're looking at Michigan State tomorrow, but the schedule's kind of set here for this to all come down to the wire, and you guys have a chance to go get it.
Very glad. All we can ask for is an opportunity. And I haven't put too much thought into it. As you said, we have Michigan State tomorrow. But all you need sometimes is an opportunity, and that's what we got. So I'm very happy.
And then your teammate Ida Sumo seems to be on one right now. What goes through your mind when you're watching him perform the way he is right now?
Really not much. I mean, I've said it before when people ask me about Io. To me, that's just dose. I'm not surprised. I'm not. That's your colleague coming into work, clocking in at the same time as you, and doing his interviews, doing his things. He's just knocking down his business.
Very good. Thanks.
Scott, Richie, I think it's your turn. Brandon was having technical difficulties.
Oh, well, I didn't notice that. Jake, I guess it's kind of a follow-up to what Jeremy asked you to start. How much of his advantage is to have a veteran team, not only a season like this, but with this stretch coming where you guys sort of know what it takes to play 4 games in 8 days?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an advantage. I think that's kind of where a lot of high power, big time teams are kind of leaning towards, just having veteran, experienced players, and an entire season under your belt, 2 seasons under your belt, 3 seasons under your belt is a huge difference in terms of levels and areas where you need to adjust. And yeah, I mean, experience is a big deal, I think, when you're in an environment for the first time compared to if you've been there before. Confidence is key, and it's contagious. And as a younger guy looking up to a older guy, and he seems like he knows what he's doing, it gives you a more comfortable approach to the situation, to be quite literal. And with age comes maturity and strength and all those things. So it's definitely there's a reason why Coach Underwood recruited and did what he did with the roster for a reason, and we're here now.
And Coach Underwood has kind of made the argument that the freshmen maybe aren't really freshmen anymore at this point of the season. But are there things you're still telling those young guys now, just about maybe how to prep, how to be ready for a stretch like this?
Sure, and I wouldn't even put it one way like that. They even talk to me about things like I don't think it's like a father-son relationship in that way. I think it's more of a young buck and the OG. It's Bello's always telling me things that I could do, or I missed, or an Ace is always telling me things, and I talk to Coleman too. So yeah, it's a two-way street. But definitely just having the experience is nice to have.
Thanks, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Jake. With how great of a program MSU's been, you kind of hit on it a little bit earlier in the last 10 to 20 years. Has there been maybe an extra juice in practice in the locker room from you guys to kind of try and hand them a loss at the Breslin Center or with the final push that you guys have that you mentioned in the Big Ten to kind of get that one on the road again?
Sure, and I think one thing that Coach mentioned to us was I forget quite exactly what their record is, 5-9, 4-10, 5-10, somewhere in that range in Big Ten play, I think. And he said, don't look at their record at all. It doesn't represent anything. This is Michigan State. This is Michigan State. This is Izzo, and we have to respect that. So there definitely is a juice behind a team with the history that they have and the legacy that there is there. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's another Big Ten game on the road, and it's about us.
You guys really seem to relish these road opportunities against teams that have had a lot of success at home. Minnesota, obviously, you mentioned it with Michigan State. What's it like going on the road now with this final push and knowing you guys need to win all these road games to get over the hump in the Big Ten and achieve that goal?
Yeah, I think we kind of developed that identity last year of we always talk about roadkill and that we're road warriors. And I think it's just like people talk about being an underdog or an uphill battle. And I think there's just something special and gratifying about being on the road, and it's going to be harder than if it was at home, and just kind of feels more like you're taking a win rather than you're just winning. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of developed into the DNA of this team, just being maybe even better on the road. Was there a second part to your question?
No.
Cool.
Okay, I'll go. What makes this team special compared to previous
teams?
Yeah, like what makes it seems like you guys this season are just clicking really well. Just what makes it different?
I don't know. I mean, this is my first year playing with the team. It'd be hard to compare last year's team to this year's team for me because I wasn't playing, and it's a whole different chemistry with that. So I don't know. We're just hooping. I don't have anything fancy to say. We just are special. I can't compare apples to oranges here.
Jake, how did playing in the Princeton style help your basketball career? Because it seems like it's a very translatable offense to whatever you guys want to do later on in your life and later on in your basketball life.
I love that question. The Princeton offense really helps me. Honestly, I think the Princeton offense is a very beautiful way to play basketball. A lot of critics say it's like an old-fashioned way to play the game, but I don't know, something with the way that I see and saw the game before I knew it, and then learning it. And I still know the Princeton offense like the back of my hand. When we played Northwestern, I was helping Coach Chin with the scout, and because they ran a couple actions, offset and point actions. But I don't know, my cutting definitely became a point of strength in my game that I'm very comfortable with cutting. Just movement and just patterns within the game. Even though we don't run things that are similar to it, we still have like a second within a play that's relates to it. And I don't know, to me, it's just kind of like the foundation of a lot of things you see even in the NBA, just different actions. It's hard to guard. It's kind of focused on having 3 different options at different points within the offense. For instance, a common action is hitting the 5-man at the elbow or in the slot, and then another man on the wing, and you kind of connect, and the two players have an option to both of them to cut back door, either of them to come over the top, or there's just so many options, and just making reads within the game itself, I think helps me see things. But yeah, I could talk about the Princeton all day.
Did it have any impact on where you decided you wanted to go, in a sense of, if I really like what this guy's doing offensively, or the way that he sees the game, that's where I kind of want to go play?
A little bit. We've kind of gotten away from it from 2 years ago when I was looking at the program where they ran like the spread offense, which is a cousin of the Princeton, you could say. But really, I wanted to come somewhere where winning was the ultimate goal, and the coaching staff was what they are here. So many things went into it, but yeah.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jake, as you're 3/4 through the Big Ten season, what have you kind of noticed as maybe the biggest difference between playing in a league like the Big Ten and playing in the Patriot League?
I think that is a good question. It's definitely a lot faster in terms of transition. I think it's really the cliche things you hear. Like I think it's a lot faster. People are just bigger, stronger. People are less likely to miss a shot off of like a mistake. I think there's less leeway. There's everyone's a little bit more sound in terms of their principles offensively and defensively. Kind of the things you would expect. I think it is a little bit of a, not a level up, but just a notch of intensity. But I don't think it's too. I mean, it's Division I basketball. You've got coaches playing chess with each other. Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to say anything to put down the conference I used to play in on accident. So I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah, I got you. That was a good answer. Thanks, Jake.
Yep. Crazy.
Hey, Jake, I wanted to follow up real quick. You talked about those practices in September and leading up to these goals that you guys had, but what's it like to be now in that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I didn't hear
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear anything you said because I do Georgia was coming over here. Nah, you good.
You talked about, in those practices in September, October, kind of setting the stage for the goals that you guys have. But now that you're here with 2 weeks left in the regular season and those are still in front of you, like, what is this like for you as a player to be in that moment you've kind of set out for?
Yeah, I'm not really an emotional guy, but I'm pretty level-headed. But the other day I was just kind of like daydreaming about like what if we actually got to where we're trying to go. And I was I ain't cry, but I was like getting a little worked up, like, dang, that would be so surreal. And like as a kid, just it's kind of crazy to be here. I don't want to talk about myself, but just not having anything pointing in this direction at all, and just kind of getting here and now being on a top 5 team, second in the Big Ten. The opportunity is kind of crazy, but I try to stay humble and not think too far ahead. But it is extremely emotional to think that we have 5-ish games left, 4-ish games, 9. Within 15-ish games, we could be somewhere that it is extremely hard to get to, and not a lot of people have that chance. It's slightly surreal, but right now we just got to keep grinding and working hard in practice. And just keep chopping wood.
Was there something in particular that prompted that moment for you, or what brought that on?
I'm trying to remember. I think we were in. I think it was after. Can't remember what game it was, but I know I was in a lot. It was an away locker room, or even our locker room. I don't even remember. Time is not a thing right now, but I was just around the team. We had just won, and coach was talking about something, and I don't know, it just started to get to me.
Thanks, Jake. I really appreciate it.
Yep.
Hey, Jake, wanted to follow up. You mentioned that it may be a little bit higher, like the emotions might be a little bit higher after a road win at Minnesota or whoever. Can you kind of compare the emotions of a road win in the locker room and the emotions of a big home win in the locker room, and how they might be similar and how they might be different?
I said that a road win is a little bit more than a home game, but I think in the locker room after the game, a win is a win, even if it's a bad win. I think it's more of the process leading up to the end of the game. So from the two practices that we have before the game and during the game, it's a little bit more like we're here to take somebody's candy. But in the locker room, a win is a win. It's in the W column. And then once we get in the locker room, it's pretty much on to the next after coach's speech.